At least you can see if your microphone's on or
You
not.
know,
With that, your surface.
I still have to turn it this way.
Everybody gets judged on how they walk in the door.
All right, here we go. Good morning. I would like to call to order this meeting of the Fremont County Board of Commissioners. Thank you all for joining us this morning on this very unusual meeting. Being here today with us. I ask that you lift any heaviness off of every heart and mind in this place this morning, off of this building. May this be a place of light and discernment, lots of good conversation, and receptive hearts, Lord. We just thank you for being able to gather like this in your precious name, and we thank you, Lord. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Stacy. Roll call.
Commissioner Bell.
Present.
Commissioner Grantham. Here. Commissioner McFall.
Present.
County Attorney Jackson.
Present.
County Manager Bryant.
Present.
Planning and Zoning Coordinator Ademick.
Present.
We turn next to the approval of today's agenda. We do have one change we need to make under new business. Item 4, we are replacing with proclaiming Fremont Fall Heritage Days, September through November 2022, and renumbering numbers 4, 5, and 6 to reflect that addition to the agenda.
So not replacing, just
Well, we're replacing
inserting.
number 4, we're moving, we're not removing
Yeah.
anything, so yes.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I would make the motion to approve the agenda with that change, adding the Fremont Fall Heritage Day proclamation as item number 4 under new business.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve today's agenda with that change. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We turn next to the consent agenda for today. It's a very short consent agenda. We always like to let you know when we are scheduling public hearings out into the future, we are scheduling none on today's agenda.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve today's consent agenda. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We turn next to administrative and informational topics. This is typically when we would have a report from our county manager, maybe a report on tax collections, maybe a report from our county clerk. We have none of those today. I would just like to say thank you. This has been an incredibly rough week for everyone at Fremont County, but especially for our IT department and for our administrative department. Last Friday was a payday for the county, and our administration team sat late Wednesday afternoon and handwrote about 330 checks so our people could get paid. Things are not as normal in Fremont County right now, but we are working very, very hard to get back to normal, to have every system restored, to have all of our data back and restored once again. So there's been a lot of work going on behind the scenes, and I think the entire county owes those particular employees a gratitude of debt that we likely will never be able to pay. So I just wanted to say thank you. Gentlemen?
I'll just kind of tag on to that a little bit. Yeah, it's been kind of strange, and like I said, we've kind of got an analog meeting here. We've got a folder instead of computers in front of us, and thank goodness that there are hard copies when the applications come in, so we're able to conduct business as normal. But I just want to shout out to Michael Kroll, our emergency manager. He's doing a heck of a job with his team out there, along with IT and Sonny and her administration team. They're all doing a great job trying to get the county back up where we need to be. Nobody's in danger, but there's a lot of weird stuff happening, so we're trying to get that fixed with the computers, and we'll be back up and running as soon as we can be.
Ditto to all. In addition to the kudos to our staff for some really unprecedented events for us in Fremont County, kudos to and thank you to the public for their patience and understanding through this. We're getting things back up as quickly as we can. The staff is working an ungodly amount of hours to make this happen. And so thank you to the public for the understanding of getting us through this.
All right.
I do have just a couple of quick things. We do have a hotline established, so if anybody has any questions specific to the event, please call the hotline. That phone number is 719-276-7421. We do have individuals, and I don't know if Clerk Grantham wants to indicate, but we do have a couple of individuals sitting outside the admin building from Motor Vehicle Department, answering some questions that they can. And then we have established a website that we also are posting daily updates and information on. That website is fremontcountyco.state.co.us. So as much information as we can get out at that point can be available either the hotline or on that website, and that's updated daily.
Thanks so much for that information, Sunny. Anything else? Clerk Grantham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the public that is here and the ones that are watching, note that minimal DMV services are available online at www.mydmv.colorado.gov. There's a whole bunch of transactions you can complete on there, as well as if you're looking to get a replacement of your registrations or need to renew your tags, you can go to the kiosk at City Market, and that's available during their open hours as well. As County Manager Bryant indicated, we do have some DMV employees upstairs in the front of the building to answer any title questions, and if your title work is complete, we actually do accept your paperwork, and when we're back up and running, we'll actually process that paperwork and give you a call. So if you do have questions about the DMV or the clerk's office, they're there to help you. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Anything else? Okay, it is time for citizens who may wish to address this board on any matter not scheduled on today's agenda. Do we have anyone who would like to approach? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. Old business for consideration, SRU 21-005, the Observer Ranch Campground. This was a request for the approval of a special review use permit for a travel trailer and campground and learning center located at 4509 County Road 123 in Penrose. We have a resolution before us. This is going to be resolution number 28. And I'm going to read pertinent parts of this resolution before we move for approval. So the final whereas is, it appears that issuance of a special review use permit is appropriate. All normal and typical conditions do apply. They are listed out. There are quite a few of them here. No need to read all of them, but there are a few that I would like to share that I think are of particular interest to our applicants. The special review use permit shall be issued for life of the use. Days and hours of operation shall not be limited. Applicant shall install on-site wastewater treatment systems prior to commencing operations or allowing recreational vehicles or campers to stay overnight. Applicant is not required to install such systems for Phase 2 until applicant proceeds with construction and development of Phase 2. Item L. Applicant shall comply with all requirements of the Fremont County Department of Transportation regarding access permits and any additional requirements regarding traffic impacts. Item M. Applicant shall install an asphalt, concrete, or chip seal apron at the access to the property, beginning at the edge of County Road 123, covering the full width of the access and extending into the property for 30 feet. The applicant shall consult with the Fremont County Department of Transportation for more detailed specifications. Item N, applicants' educational and learning activities are not required to be offered only to campground guests and may be made available to the general public. Item O, at the applicant's option, the use of the Watchman quarters shall not be restricted to 90-day stays, providing that the Watchman's quarters is a permanent habitable structure or located within a permanent habitable structure. Item P, on-site wastewater treatment systems and electrical transformers shall not be located within the 8 Mile Creek floodplain. Item Q, the turning radii on internal roads and turnarounds shall be wide enough to accommodate large RVs and fifth wheel type vehicles. The SRU site plan will be revised to reflect any design adjustments. We also have one waiver request for surfacing. Excuse me. Surfacing for all business, commercial, or industrial off-street parking areas shall be graded and surfaced. Parking areas shall be graded or hard surfaced at the option of the applicant. Dirt parking areas are not permitted, but surfacing of handicap spaces shall comply with the requirements of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Those are the things I had marked that we thought that you might be the most interested in, as well as our general public. And I simply would like to say to our applicant, I have an apology for you. We know that you were kind of turned inside out and upside down with some of the requirements for this. We've had a lot going on in our planning and zoning department, as you all know, and having a consultant working with you through the county as directed by the county, things don't always go smoothly. So I do apologize it took you to get to the very final stage when you stood before us and made the requests that you were making, but I think we heard you. I think we understood what you were asking for, and I think you're going to be happy with today's results. So, gentlemen, anything else?
Yeah, I just kind of add to that. I've had conversations with some of you before, and the frustration, I understand it. So, and I guess you noticed in the public hearing last time, I had some questions that didn't make sense to me. I think we've answered those today too, which is in your benefit, or the benefit of everybody actually. You had neighbors here that were in favor of it, but yet they couldn't go use the facility. That just didn't make sense to me. So we've got that rectified, I believe, with this resolution. I wish you guys the best. I hope everything works out great out there, and good luck.
All right.
Nothing to add.
All right, I'm prepared for a motion.
I have a motion for you, Madam Chair.
All right.
I move to approve resolution number 28, approving SRU 21-005 for the Observer Ranch Campground. It is a permit for a travel trailer and campground learning center located at 4509 County Road 123 in Penrose, with a waiver, as you stated earlier, of the surfacing.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 28, which is a resolution for a special review use permit, Department of Planning and Zoning, file number SRU 21-005, the Observer Ranch Campground and Learning Center located at 4509 County Road 123 in Penrose. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We wish you all the very
Good
best
luck,
of
guys.
luck. Up next is new business. We do have several items under new business for consideration today. Item 1 is the resolution declaring a local disaster due to a cybersecurity attack on the computer technology systems of Fremont County, Colorado.
Extension.
This is an extension, yes. And I'm going to turn to our county attorney, Ms. Brenda Jackson, for a word of explanation. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning. Last Wednesday, August 17th, at about 2 a.m., the county suffered a cybersecurity attack. Later that day, the chairperson of the board, Ms. Bell, approved an order in accordance with statute declaring a local disaster emergency. This activates emergency services statewide, and the state of Colorado has generously sent people from the Office of Information Technology, consultants, and the work to repair all of this damage is ongoing. Those orders issued by the principal officer for the county, which is the chairperson of the board, only last for 7 days. So it expires tonight at midnight unless the board concurs and extends the declaration of the local disaster. So this resolution extends the disaster that was declared on August 17th, and it will extend it until the first board meeting in September, which is the second Tuesday in September, and that would be September 13th, at which time the board can review it and determine if it needs to be extended further. The board also has the option to terminate it if it's appropriate to do so sooner. So this extends the declaration until September 13th.
Thank you for that. I also would like to once again thank our emergencies manager, Michael Kroll. Michael is the one who came to us late that afternoon and said, have you considered doing an emergency declaration? And we said no. So doing so, I think, was absolutely the right call. It was the right thing to do because it did open up those avenues for a lot more support than we would have had otherwise. So Michael, just publicly, I would like to say thank you again. Gentlemen, your wishes?
Madam Chair, I would move resolution number 29, the resolution extending the declaration of a local disaster due to the cybersecurity attack on the computer technology systems for Fremont County, Colorado.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 29, extending the declaration of a local disaster due to a cybersecurity attack here in Fremont County, Colorado. Further discussion?
Just one note, Madam Chair, that it, again, Ms. Jackson said this, but it ends September 13th unless we can do it sooner than that. Hopefully we can, but September 13th.
I also would note that, yes, I was the one who signed the original order because that was the legal and appropriate way to do it, but I certainly did not do it on my own. It was done in conjunction with the gentleman sitting here with me this morning, as well as our county attorney and our county manager. So just want to make that clear. All right, all in? Let's do roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, up next, we have a resolution for the John C. Fremont Public Library to participate in the 2022 election. And following that motion and likely approval, we will have an update from the John C. Fremont Public Library. So we have with us Library Director Tabby Solakovich. Good morning, Tabby. Would you like to come and talk to us just a little bit about what your ballot issue is going to be?
Hit that button right in front there. Yeah. There you go.
All right,
There we
there.
go. All right, good morning.
Good morning. Well, I'll just say morning because we're not sure if it's good yet.
It's a
right?
great morning. We're here. Yes, it's all good.
Thank you for having me today. Just a brief, I guess, elevator speech of why the library district, the board, has decided to go on the ballot. We have been a district since 2005. At that time, we determined our mill at 2, and we've been at the same mills since 2005. We've been in the same building, which we lease, and our landlords, who are amazing, are retired and would like to enjoy their retirement. So we are in the process of looking for a new home. So the hope is with the mill levy increase, we would be able to save some more into our building fund, which is a little over $70,000 right now, and then to also have that higher mill because it's been a struggle some of these past years to have staff paid the correct amount and everything else staying at the same mill with minimum wage going up and our mill levy kind of going down. So are there any questions? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Questions, gentlemen?
Nope.
So this will be resolution number 30, a proposal and resolution certifying and referring to the November 2022 ballot, a proposal for a voter-approved mill levy increase of 3.50 mills and revenue change in the amount of $393,546 for the first year and annually thereafter for the John C. Fremont Library District, and including a request for exemption of all revenues from the mill levy increase from the spending and revenue limits provided in Article 10, Section 20 of the Colorado Constitution. All right, gentlemen, your wishes.
Madam Chair, I have a motion.
I'm prepared.
I move to approve resolution number 30, which you just read, for John C. Fremont Public Library to participate in the 2022 election. It gives the voters the choice.
Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 30, which in effect allows the Fremont County Clerk to work with you to put your ballot issue on the coordinated election ballot in November. So for clarification. All right, it has been moved and seconded. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, and thank you. And now we're going to have a quick update on what's been happening at the library.
And I know that it's been a while since I've been in because COVID, and then everything else just kind of. So I have a packet that I've provided you with, and it has a ton of information in there on what's been going on at the John C. Fremont Library in Florence for the past 3 years. And I have my business card there as well, so you can give me a call, or once you guys are back up and running, send me an email if you have any questions. I know that your time today is very important, so I'm not going to take a lot of it. The main updates that I want to give you is just some, I guess, good moments that happened during COVID. Even though we did have to close and went to curbside for a while, we were able to get some good grant money during COVID. We replaced all of the computers throughout the entire library for staff and for patrons, and everybody has enjoyed those immensely. So since we've been able to open back up, we did get money to help us buy all of the appropriate PPE and cleaning supplies that we need. We are still cleaning everything when it gets back. It's the books, the DVDs, everything before we check them back out, doing what we can to keep people safe. We continue to wipe down and clean all of our brand new computers between use in the bathroom. And we are and continue to be an official distribution site for the at-home test kits and the KN95 face masks. So we continue to tell people, don't pay for those at the store when you can come get them from us for free. And you don't have to be a Florence resident. I've had people from Salida come to our library to get those supplies. So I do have, I believe it's like the second page in there, a future newspaper article that I plan to put in the local papers to give everyone kind of an update, a history of the John C. Fremont Library, when we became a district and how we've been at the same mills and leasing the same building, which was honestly too small when they moved in. If you have any questions, please contact me. Any questions before I run away, before I?
Thank you so much, Tabby. Thank you so much, Tabby. I have no questions, but I do have a comment. I just would like to say thank you very much for everything that you do for your community. And by your community, I'm not talking about just Florence. I am talking about the community at large. So we appreciate you. We appreciate the folks who you work with, all of your volunteers, all of those people. I just would like to say thank you. Gentlemen,
Thank you.
Anything else?
You know, it's funny. I'm married to a librarian, so I know what kind of stuff you go through up there. But COVID was kind of hard on libraries because there's a lot of people that read that you see them all the time, but when they can't get in, you realize how many there are. And I appreciate the way that you guys handled that, going curbside and allowing people to still do that. I think the other library here in Kansas City did the same thing, and it was tough. It was tough for them to get through, but it allowed that service for those people. So thanks for everything that you do.
Yes.
One of the things that you will notice once you have the opportunity to look at the director's report is how much our checkout of e-books and e-audio books went up during COVID, and they continue to stay up there. But our regular checkouts are moving back up again too, and our visits, so.
Thank you, Tabby.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna run away, but you guys know where to find me if you need me. Should I turn this back off?
Leave it on, please.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Item 3 under new business is a Suicide Awareness Month proclamation. We have with us this morning Jessica Cobbler. She's back. Good morning, Jessica. So if you would like to come to the microphone and tell us what this is about.
Do you want, are you reading it, Debbie, or do you want me to read it?
You can read it if you'd like.
Okay.
Yes. There you go.
Um,
Just set it right there so you're not moving it. There.
National Suicide Prevention Month is September of 2022. Whereas Fremont County is home to more than 46,000 people, a place of destination for thousands of visitors annually, and the site of about a dozen state and federal correctional facilities. And whereas the Fremont County coroner reported 21 suicides were investigated in 2021, one of which was an offender in the state or federal prison. And whereas Fremont County's average number of deaths by suicide typically is 24 to 30 per year. Whereas 90% of those who die by suicide had a diagnosable mental health condition at the time of their death, according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And whereas in 2020, suicide was Colorado's 8th leading cause of death and the 2nd leading cause of death for ages 10 to 44. And whereas 8 times as many people died by suicide in 2019 than in alcohol-related motor vehicle accidents. And whereas on average, there are 132 suicides per day in the US. And whereas 54% of Americans have been affected by suicide in some way. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed by the County Commissioners of Fremont County that September 2022 is hereby designated as National Suicide Prevention Month in Fremont County. The county commissioners do urge all people of Fremont County to become educated on suicide prevention awareness and support those affected by suicide during this month and throughout the year.
Thank you for that, Jessica. Do you have any other comments you'd like to make this morning?
Yeah, if you don't mind. Just want to say thank you again for always doing this proclamation. Thank you, Carrie, for always being the one to get it drafted again. Just like to tell you a little bit why I'm involved with suicide awareness. I know most of you guys know, and my connection to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Someday I won't cry. Again, as I was preparing to speak today, there are a couple things I'd like to share. Number one, I'm not an expert. I'm a mom whose son died by suicide. Thank you. This never gets any easier. Honestly, how could it? It's been 8 years. I still get nervous, anxious, and I want to cancel last minute. But I know how important it is, and I will show up even with these tears in my eyes. Doing this and speaking continues to be a part of my healing process. My son Dalton died by suicide on June 18th, 2014. He was just 18 years old. Dalton was such a good person. He was kind, he was funny, he was shy, he was smart, he was a great friend, a great brother, a great son and grandson, and he was very handsome. Less than a month prior to his death, he graduated the 2014 Florence High School valedictorian, a goal he had set for himself and worked very hard to achieve. He had also been accepted to and was preparing to attend the Colorado School of Mines that fall to pursue a degree in chemical engineering. I want to share a little part of his, what he wrote in his valedictorian speech. I want us, the class of 2014, to be remembered for years to come. Listen to your voice, your own soul. Too many people listen to the noise of the world instead of being themselves. Being different is never a bad thing. I was labeled a socially awkward nerd throughout most of high school. Although this may be truthful to an extent, look at me now. I'm on top, and I'm different in many ways from those in front of me. Take a chance and be yourself, and remember that we all go through a dark, scary tunnel before we reach the sunlight at the other end. I wish he would have waited for that sunlight. He also talked about this saying, "The grass is always greener on the other side," and quoted Robert Fulghum, The grass is not, in fact, greener on the other side of the fence. Fences have nothing to do with it. The grass is greenest where it is watered. When crossing over fences, carry water with you and tend to the grass wherever you may be. Suicide wasn't a part of our vocabulary 8 years, 2 months, and 5 days ago. I've said that word thousands of times since then. Since then, my mission has been a few things. First and most important, to make sure Dalton is never forgotten. I say this in every speech that I've given, and I know it sounds silly, but it's one of my biggest fears. Make sure that that one day does not define his life. He lived and did a lot in the short time he was here. To be his voice and a voice for mental health and suicide and work towards ending the stigma of those two words. To let you know that suicide does not discriminate. If this can happen to my family, it can happen to yours. To try and give help and hope so that another family does not have to go through what my family has to go through. I ask that you please remember as we talk about suicide that the statistics, the lines on the graph, and the push pins on the map represent someone. A son, a daughter, a brother, a sister, a mother, a dad, a friend, a coworker. Dalton, Lindsay, Cheryl, AJ, Charlie, Kobe, Hannah, Palmer, Seth, Kyle, Maverick, Abby, Ryan, Brody, Thomas, Quentin, and all those lost to suicide. None of this would be possible without the support of my family, friends, and communities. So thank you for always allowing me to speak. On my last note, I'm also here to invite you all to the 6th annual Fremont County Out of the Darkness Community Walk, hosted by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. The walk takes place Saturday, September 10th at Centennial Park here in Canyon City. Registration starts at 9 with the walk beginning at 10. Everybody has to register for the walk. You can do so in person or online at afsp.org/Fremont. We'll have a memory board where you can share a picture or a message for your loved one, memory beads, and a silent auction. I'd like to end with the Out of the Darkness poem regarding the walk. Out of the darkness and into the light, not a battle we choose, but one we will fight. We've all lost a loved one to this hidden foe, so out of the darkness in numbers we go. We raise awareness as we walk the walk and fight against stigmas still plaguing most talk. Each suicide victim, a dear precious soul who battled a darkness that took a great toll. Suicide victims can't utter a word, but we are survivors and we can be heard. The stigma must end and awareness must rise. We carry this message with tears in our eyes. From all walks of life, we now gather for them and shine in their honor with light from within. Thank you.
Jessica, thank you so much for being here again. We can't imagine how it feels, but you should be so proud for everything that you're doing to bring that light onto this desperately difficult subject. It is something most people don't want to talk about, and so I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
I can see how hard it is.
Yes.
You said it never gets any easier, and I agree with you. I don't know how it possibly could, but I just would like to say thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And we also wish that Dalton would have waited
Yep.
for that sunshine to come back.
Thank you.
Thank you too. I tell you this every time I think, but I appreciate your drive. You got to bring this to light. These numbers are way too high.
Yeah,
So thanks.
thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Really, I don't know how you do it, but thank you for doing it.
Thank you. Thank you.
We do have a copy here for you,
Okay.
so let's do a motion first.
Madam Chair, I would move that we approve the Suicide Awareness Month proclamation
For the month of.
for the month of September of 2022.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve this proclamation naming September 2022 as National Suicide Prevention Month. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham, Aye. Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks again.
No.
Oh, no. It is what, the 23rd?
It is.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
The hour has reached 10 o'clock plus a couple of minutes. We do have a public hearing scheduled for 10 a.m., so we need to interrupt our new business items and move to the public hearing. This is a request for approval of OPC 22-001, Morning Suites LLC for a new medical marijuana grow facility. This is a Tier 1 facility with 500 plants to be located at 365 15th Street in Penrose, with the site accessed through 1496 C Street in Penrose. I'm going to open the public hearing, and we have with us a representative this morning. I believe Andrew Nagy. Is Andrew here? All right, if you would like to come to the microphone.
Affidavit. I wasn't able to email it to you.
Okay, that's fine.
Publication.
Yeah, that's one thing to note. We never mentioned we don't have any email, so anybody trying to email us, it's going to bounce back. One guy told me it did. Yeah.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Would you like to go ahead and talk a little bit about what your plan is out there?
Well, my name's Andrew Philip Nagy. I'm originally from Florida. Moved here 4 years ago. Was lucky enough to get into the marijuana industry 3 weeks before lockdowns. I started at $13 an hour. Within 3 months, I was running both of their 500 plant medical gardens. Been doing that for about 2.5 years. Till about a month ago, where we had a amicable separation because I was focusing all my efforts on my own business and a little nervous.
It's okay, we don't bite.
But I think it's really important for me to kind of guarantee my own income instead of waiting for somebody to hand me a check. So I have the opportunity to start my own cultivation, and that's why I'm here today. I'm blessed to be here today.
All right, thank you. Gentlemen, do you have questions at this point, or let's hear a staff report first? So we'll turn to Danielle. Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning. So the grow is going to be off of a non-county maintained road. The closest resident to the grow site is 1,060 feet away per their site plan. The zoning is ag living with both lots. The combined acreage is 20 acres. The commercial greenhouses are an allowed use within the zone district. The building department will require detailed engineered plans before any approval for a building permit. The Division of Water Resources is requiring them to install an inline flow meter and to report to the Division of Water Resources monthly and email all receipts of bulk water purchases. We have not received any comments in favor of this business. We have received 3 complaints against this OPC. One of the complainants are 0.63 miles away. The second one is 0.64 miles away, and the third one is 3.8 miles away. Our department would recommend a detailed improvement location certificate by a licensed surveyor showing all proposed improvements and the distance to the closest residence, and an odor mitigation plan by a professional licensed mechanical engineer, if this is approved.
All right, thank you, Danielle. Questions for Danielle?
No.
Questions, discussion for the applicant before we go to public hearing, or would you like to hear from the public first?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. This is a public hearing. We will now turn to anyone in the audience who would like to rise and speak either for or against this particular proposal. We do have sign-up sheets, I believe, on the back desk over there. Have we received any sheets for anyone to stand and speak at this time? Is there anyone here who would like to? Okay, yes. Andrew, if you would have a seat. All right, go ahead and come on up to the microphone. And if you would identify yourself, please, and where you live.
My name is Shannon Roberts. I am the neighbor adjacent to this proposed pot grow. And I would like to comment that we have a pot grow on top of the hill that's vacant that's no longer being used. We've had several pot grows around our neighborhood that have failed totally. And I would like to not see a bunch of fencing put up and water being used for something that has been a failing thing since we've started this. I'm not against the pot, but I am against the pot grows being put up that are not being maintained, not being taken care of. We got them on Highway 50, we got them on 115. It's just an eyesore, so I'm against it.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Shannon.
Mr. Roberts, when there's a chance, can you fill out a slip for me, please?
Oh, sorry. I should have mentioned that. Anyone else who would like to rise and speak at this time? Once the public hearing is closed, you will not have an opportunity. So, all right, going once. All right, we're going to close the public hearing. And I turn to my fellow commissioners for questions and discussion. So if you'd like to come back to the microphone.
Where to start, where to start?
Where to begin?
I've got a couple questions just because I don't understand this. One, the first question, you own the property.
Yes, me and my mother.
You're going to lease it to an LLC and then lease it back.
So me and my mother bought the property. We leased it to her company. Her company is going to build the infrastructure. It's going to lease it to my company. It's just what our lawyer advised us to do, to add levels of security, I guess. So.
Okay, thanks. That clears that up. I just didn't understand why all of that.
Yeah.
The other concern that I have actually is you talk about being a, I don't even remember how you said it, but you've taken care of the smell, ventilation systems and stuff for those other grows. That's the biggest problem with these, I believe, other than some of them do have eyesores like Mr. Roberts talked about. But the state has a level as to which the smell cannot exceed, which is, in my opinion, still too high because it stinks no matter what.
For sure.
I didn't see through here anywhere, you talked a little bit about the charcoal filters that you use, but there is no plan of how you're going to mitigate that whatsoever, how reliable it's going to be or anything like that. Can you expand on that a little bit?
I've been running medical grows in the springs for 2.5 years. We rely on giant tower carbon filters with inline fans throughout all the rooms in the building, which constantly turns the air over to scrub the air of any smell. So there's minimal smell inside the grow, and we don't have, my proposed plan is a completely sealed building, so I'm not gonna have any exhausts. It's all gonna be brand new metal building, foam insulated, constant turnover of the air through these carbon filters. Been working with these for years. They do the job. The only reason you would smell something outside of a building is if somebody was not keeping up to changing those filters because they exhaust themselves about every 6 months. But other than that, smell is a very easy thing to control if you're willing to spend the money on the infrastructure to make sure that it's handled. From my point of view, smell is a security issue. Plus, I don't want to bother anybody. That's why I picked a spot on the back of a 20-acre parcel as far away as I could get from people. And you're not going to smell anything unless you go right up to a plant in my building. That's just the way I've always run it. Had many med agents come and walk through our grows, and I guess their biggest complaint was we were in a like a neighborhood, so they really want us to be on top of our trash, which, you know, I handle. But other than that, I follow to a T what the state and the county would require. And like I said, I don't want anybody to even walk anywhere on the property and smell anything. Even in the front work area, you wouldn't smell anything. Not until you got right up to the plant and rubbed on it, would you smell anything? So constant turnover, multiple carbon filters for every room in the building. That's just, as far as I'm concerned, standard protocol. Because like I said, it's a major security issue if somebody can walk even around the property and smell anything. I just want to be a discreet little metal building on the back of a property, and just want to, completely open to the state and the county, but just do my own thing and do what I'm good at, do what I love to do.
So a couple of times you said you won't smell anything in the building. Okay, it's outside the building I'm worried about.
Right. I mean, yeah, if you can't, like I said, it's a completely sealed building, so we don't bring in fresh air, we don't exhaust air out of the building, just a constant recirculation of the air in the building, plus whatever comes in through the cracks. Obviously it's not a completely sealed building, but no, smell concern is one of our, I'm the only guy that's going to be working at this company, so it's of the utmost. One of my top things on the list is I can't use have any smell. It's a security issue. Plus, like I said, it's a rule. We can't have any smells outside of the building. So, I guarantee it. Anybody can come check on it. It would not smell.
The next question is the water. Looks like you've got the availability to buy water from Florence.
Yes, sir.
That could get cut off at any time if there's a water shortage, which is not too far in the future, unfortunately. What's your plan then?
We've contacted multiple water services as far up as Denver that were willing to work with us. We got a more local guy in our application, but my system uses a minuscule amount of water with absolutely no waste. So I've spent the last 2 years dialing in these systems to use barely any water. I would reckon to say that I probably use maybe 400 gallons a month. So as far as a 500 plant grow goes, it's really minimal. My infrastructure as far as water goes would last me anywhere from 3 to 4 months, probably more. We refill before you run out, obviously. But, and I've also looked into these rent-to-own 500-gallon trailers, fully Department of Transportation approved. So in the future, I am gonna be hauling my own water. To start, I will have water delivered. So once I can haul my own water, I'll be able to, pick it up from wherever it's available.
And the last thing for a minute is kind of to address his concerns. How are you going to keep this place from becoming an eyesore? Because there are people that live right around there.
I believe that. Well, I'm not doing an outdoor grow, not doing a greenhouse, completely sealed metal building, no smell, no sight, no sound, no light pollution. 1,000 feet back from the dirt road, end of a dirt road. Penrose Water Management is my neighbor over there. Big landowners everywhere. So, everything is self-contained. So the only thing outside of the building would be like a dumpster and a 3,000 gallon water cistern and a shipping container for storage. But other than that, we picked that spot specifically because it's so far out there, and it just seemed like the kind of area where people go to just kind of, as long as I'm following the rules, just let me do my own thing. I don't want to bother anybody. And brand new metal building, local builders, it's going to be a really nice piece of property.
Until for a minute.
Commissioner Grantham, questions?
Just going back to the odor control.
Yes, sir.
Just going back to the odor control real quick. You mentioned, and I'm guessing that most of the folks in here know the answer to this, but I'd like you to just say it for us.
Yes.
For the millions of people that will be watching this at some point. maybe online or listening to it. The security issue,
Yes.
explain that.
Just as far as smell goes?
Yeah.
It would be a highly unsecure spot if some random person who happened to be trespassing on properties nearby or even just walking down the front road. It's would not be good if somebody could smell it and then say, oh, that must be a marijuana grow.
So it prevents a target being
That's
placed
correct.
on the property.
Yes. I mean, first is, protocol from the state to do what the state requires and the county as far as odor control. Don't want to bother any neighbors or anything. But yes, it's very much a security issue to not have smell coming out of your building.
Gotcha. That's all I needed clarification on, Madam Chair.
Thanks, sir.
All right, I have a couple of questions for you as well. You said just a moment ago, I'll be the only guy working. Would you have no employees? Would it truly be a one-person operation?
Yes, and I have the chance to expand next year because we're limited to our 500 plants, but up to I've currently been running 1,000 plant grow with just me and an employee. So I've been dialing in that system. So a 500 plant garden truly is a one-man operation if you know how to set it up.
Okay. And this would be grown in Fremont County but not sold here, is that correct?
It would be sold mainly in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
My previous employer said basically, hey, I'm always on the lookout for the best medical product we can bring to the market. And that's what I pride myself on, is producing the best quality product for the medical market and those patients. And so I would be mostly dealing with my old boss and then just to get my foot in the door and then branching outward and, basically cold calling medical dispensaries and seeing if they're interested.
But just for the record, you do understand this request is for a grow site only and not for selling, even though it's medical.
Like selling
On-site. To the public.
Right. It's a wholesale.
Yes.
Yes. No dispensary or nothing like that.
Would you be doing any kind of processing on site? That seems to be the time that we typically have the biggest complaints about odor.
Right. Processing would be like cutting down the plants, chopping them up, hanging them, putting them in the dry room, preparing them to be weighed, bagged, and sold. So yeah, I will be processing as far as taking the final product from a living plant to a dried product ready to sell. That workroom will be heavily odor controlled. I've been harvesting and doing this every week for the past 2 years. So I have a lot of experience with the kind of smell that produces and a lot of experience with how to control that smell and make it, non-existent for, the people who live in the neighborhood, like, 100 feet away. Like our grow in one of our grows in Colorado Springs is dropped right in the middle of a neighborhood. So we really have to be on top of everything. So that's not something that I, take lightly.
If you've been doing this for a couple of years now at other sites, have you ever been cited for an infraction, smell or otherwise?
No.
Okay.
The only thing that they came to check on was trash. I believe what happened was one of our we used to have, when I started working there were 6 people working there. When I took over, I changed the system. For the last about year, it's been running on 2 guys. So about a year before, we had some guys throw out fresh, our protocol is to take fresh leaf and any kind of waste, bag it, mix it with dirt, and sometimes with a bleach concentrate, let it sit and rot for about a couple weeks so that it's completely unrecognizable, unusable. Some new guys came in, didn't know the protocol, threw out a bag of trash. About 6 months later, I got a call saying that they wanted to come and see my grow. So I gave him the walkthrough, very nice gentleman, and gave him the whole tour. They said everything is good. We're out here because of your trash. Show us how you do your trash. I don't think I was cited. It was more of like a, this is why we're here kind of thing. But, you know, mistakes happen with people who aren't, you know, regular in the program, so.
So speaking of trash, what is your refuse plan? How will you get rid of any garbage, trash, generated on the property, anything else?
Okay, so plant waste is put through a electric shredder that you buy, like a chipper kind of, a mulcher, I guess you'd call it. And then that is mixed with half plant material, gets mixed with half exhausted dirt, which would be like the root ball of old plants. So you mix that up really good. The state says we don't have to spray any kind of bleach or anything on there. That's just a habit that I have. So that would be bagged, stored inside the building until it rotted, thrown out to the dumpster, fenced in on the property, and then emptied as needed. And like I said, there's no wastewater with the system. So there's no like water disposal or anything like that. And then other trash would just be like plastic and regular refuse and stuff. But all plant material has its own place to go, and then all other trash goes. So plants have their own way of being dealt with.
Okay, you also have spoken of fencing a couple of times. What kind of fence are you looking at? How close to the building itself?
It's on the plan. I believe it's off the front of the building, and it would be like 50 feet out, and then the length of the building across. I believe it's been a minute since I looked at the drawing. The goal is to fence in the entrances to the building. So there's a door on the front of the building, there's a door on the back, and I want both of those to be fenced in, just to make another layer of difficulty for anybody to try to access that.
The drawing I'm looking at just has it on the west end of the building. It doesn't have it on the side of the building.
I believe I had a drawing that had like a 12 by 12 patio.
There's
the site
there's another
plan?
little fence that's a 12 by 12 at the back door. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sir. So this would be the front fence off the front of the building, and then this would be that little back. So there would be a door here and a door there.
That one in here.
And this
Okay, so this is, oh, fencing, okay, I finally see the sign, so, okay, the note. All right, thank you. Also, I see that you are requesting a waiver of the stormwater drainage plan for the time being.
just until the builder gets on site and starts moving earth around. There's gonna be a lot of earth being moved out there to make a foundation. So he was saying that's not something his engineers are gonna be able to do until we actually know, you know, like have a building site and stuff so they can make the plan and then submit it to the county.
So you're requesting a waiver simply until the building permit process, correct? Not a permanent waiver?
I would say, right.
Okay. A deferral, okay. All right, gentlemen?
I got a
anything
couple more
else?
questions, if I may.
Please do.
So what are you gonna do about security around the place? If you're the only guy there, you're gonna be there 24/7?
Probably in the beginning, just because it's a brand new business, I'm gonna, you know, be there as much as possible. But the steel front and back door security gates, steel security gates mounted on the inside, security system, obviously, hooked up to the local fire department and sheriff's office. And you know, at the end of the day, there's only so much you can do. So that's why the fencing and steel doors and security gates and then steel doors on dry rooms and anywhere like safes that are gonna hold any kind of product ready to go. Everything is gonna be made very difficult to get to. And you know, possibly like motion sensor lights around the building, things that are like deterrents that, you know, if somebody A buddy of mine is gonna help me set up the security system so I can watch it on my phone, so that I can set the alarm off without anybody necessarily having to break into the place. Like I said, it's just the nature of the business, so you make it as hard to get to as possible. And that's what I currently have, or I had when I was running those two grows, were just steel security gates. So you have to unlock your door, your alarm goes off, and then you have 30 seconds to unlock your security gate to get to the panel. Again, just there's only so much you can do. Can't hire a security guard or anything like that.
The other question is about an OWTS septic tank.
Yes, sir.
You've got it in your plan here, but you really don't know if it can go there, I'm assuming. Have you had a perk test done on the soil or anything out
Our builders have been out there. That's where they recommended to have the septic tank. That's where when I went and walked the property with the builder, and he found our proposed site, he said your septic is gonna go over here. So that's what I was basing it off of.
there? So it hasn't been tested to see if it will actually work for a septic tank?
I
then?
don't believe so.
Anything else?
I have a question for Ms. Jackson, if I may. What is the definition of site as far as this goes? Our regulations say that the houses have to be 1,000 feet away from the site. Is the site the property or where the building is? That's a loaded question.
It's a loaded question. I think the intent is from the building, the site. Now, the property itself is the entire 20 acres.
I guess it's, yeah, just how I want
Interpretation.
to interpret it, I guess, yeah. Okay. Because you show one house is 1,290 some feet away and the other one's 1,060 feet away. The regulations say 1,000 feet. I think it should be 1,000 miles, but that's my opinion. Yeah, because the site or the land is not that far away from the properties. In fact, the one to the west is just up the hill from the property, right?
Yeah, I mean, it looks a lot closer on the map overhead. When you get out there, it's pretty spread out. And
I was there. It's not that far. I've been to the property, but. And what about, this doesn't show, and of course, we don't have GIS to look at because our computer systems are down, but there is another house directly north of the property that you're proposing the building on too, correct?
No, there's a property across the dirt road in front of the 1496 C Street, and then there's, I believe it is north.
Up the draw, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's the house that's 1,260 feet from the building, that house north of us.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking that there's one to the east of that, though. Okay, that's all I've got, I think.
Anything else?
Yes.
Yes.
So going back again, retread on the odor
Yes, sir.
issue. How many facilities do you have up in Colorado Springs?
Up until a month ago, I was running 2 500 plant gardens across town from each
Okay.
other.
Of those across town from each other, but
Yes.
both in city limits, I
Yes.
take it? Okay. So what kind of facilities are they? Are they comparable to what you're planning to put up here?
These were old metal, one of them's like a metal building, one of them's like a concrete block. Were not built for that purpose, were refurbished for that purpose, so not ideal.
Are they both in the middle of residential kind of areas or near?
One is
Proximity.
not in the best part of town, it's more of a commercial area. The other one is probably, I mean, we must be just past 1,000 feet from a school and right in a residential area.
But the other one that's in the commercial area, what is the proximity to the nearest residential?
There's like a water, I guess you'd call it a giant creek behind, and then there's a subdivision. So from the back door of the grow, I would say maybe 400 feet.
Okay. So do you have the same charcoal filter system in those two
Yes, we do.
facilities?
Not as robust as I would like, because it's not my, I don't get to buy what I want for the facility. I have to try to convince the owner that, hey, our it's about time to change those filters or something. It's a hard ask for the guy, so I had to make do with what I could do, and I made it work.
But I guess my point is on that, what I want to make sure I understand is the question from Commissioner Bell about complaints on those facilities. There haven't been any on odor?
No, sir.
Okay.
No,
All right.
sir.
I wanted to make sure on that. And as far as the access and the hauling water, I know there are some concerns over how much traffic there might be, especially with
Right.
heavy water tanks and et cetera coming over that road.
Like I said, in the beginning, we'll have some water brought out to us, but going forward, I'm going to rent to own a 500-gallon pull-behind trailer, rent a work truck, probably pick up about 500 gallons once a month.
Okay, instead of the full
Yeah, I'm not
3,000
gonna
to
have a
6,000.
2,000-gallon semi come down the road or nothing like that. It's just not, the longer I'm glad this process has taken what it's had, because I've been able to rethink some of these things, and you don't need that much water brought out to you at a time. Having a local guy fill you up 1,000 gallons and then picking up 500 gallons once a month, especially because for the first probably 4 months, the plants aren't gonna be much taller than this. You guys start from scratch, so we're not gonna really be using much water. And then from that point forward, water's not gonna be a big deal. It's a very small setup, planned out that way, just so I can run it. And then in the future, if I do expand, my brother wants to learn.
So what is the average water usage per month? Let's say you get to full-grown plant.
Full-grown plant, average water every other day for the garden would be anywhere from like 75, probably about 75 gallons. There are certain days where you're gonna let the garden dry out, so not every week is gonna be consistently watered like that. But I use small pots, small amounts of water more often, as opposed to bigger pots, more water, less often. And I've just dialed it in to use the minimal amount of water possible. Even though in the city, we can just turn on the faucet and take as much as we want. Knowing that I was gonna look towards doing my own thing and that water was gonna be a constriction, I made very much sure to dial in my current systems to reflect what I was gonna do in my own business.
So I take it that this is an individual plant, like a drip kind of system, or
Hand watering.
hand water? Oh,
Hand watering.
so, okay.
I mean, hoses and wands and pumps and things,
Gotcha.
but yeah, hand watering, best way to do it.
So 75 to 80
Gallons
per-
every other day,
every
except
other
for
day.
certain weeks. So, there might be
That's
two-
for the entire 500 plants?
Yeah, it's not much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because when they're small, the whole building is broken down into 4 zones. So instead of having a giant, big building full of big plants, you have basically 6 sets of plants at differing sizes, and so they're all gonna need, so unless you have fully grown mature plants, which are gonna need maybe like a 1-second water count per plant, and there might be 80 plants in that zone, and then every smaller zone takes less and less water.
Okay.
So,
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions of our applicant?
One more question.
Please do.
You're from Colorado Springs. Why aren't you building in Colorado Springs or El Paso County?
It's very hard to find land throughout the entire state. We spent a year looking for land, and a lot of the places you'll find beautiful land, but restrictions, like homeowners association restrictions, so they won't allow cultivations. And this particular property kind of checked all the boxes. It was out of the way. It was at the end of a dirt road way back there, and we have 3-phase power at the road. So I had Black Hills come out there and tell me what I was gonna need, and he said, oh yeah, we can get you as much power out here as you want because you're at the end of a road, and Penrose Water is right there, so they have those big pumps out there along the river. So it was surprisingly very hard to find anywhere that I could see this facility going up. It's just real difficult. Found beautiful land, very nice people. You want to do a medical marijuana grow? Sorry, we don't do that. So it was like, okay, got to check that off the list. So that's why I'm not. And it's that land reminds me of where I'm from, as weird as it sounds, in South Florida, like back dirt roads. Every time I go down there, like the neighbors are just, who's this? Who's that car? It seems like one of those areas where people just want to be left alone and keep to themselves. And I thought, well, this is perfect because not everybody agrees, with what I'm trying to do. So I want to respect everybody as much as possible. And that land kind of checked the box as far as being away from everybody.
Okay. Anything else? Questions? You good?
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to say this is one of those applications that personally I would prefer to table to be able to create what we call a list of findings that can guide us into the appropriate direction for a decision. And because of our current technology situation, gentlemen, I would prefer to move that out 2 meetings rather than just 1. So I believe that meeting will be September 24th. I don't have a calendar in front of me, but is that correct?
27th.
27th. Good thing I asked. Yes. So I will just let you know that would be my wishes, but gentlemen, I'm prepared to accept a motion.
I got one more question, if I may.
Okay.
For the applicant. Sorry.
No, go ahead, sir.
So that is a non-maintained road.
Correct.
If it's muddy out there, it's not going to be a very good road. And if you take a big truck down there one time on a muddy road, it's going to tear it up. Do you have anything to help maintain that road, especially if you mess it up where the other folks live?
Well, the goal of having such a small setup was that we can really pick our spots when we needed to pick up water, that we would have enough in reserves to where we weren't forced to go pick up water in bad weather. So it was basically like you're going to have enough water to last you ideally multiple months, and then you can pick your spots when you would go and top up your tank. So as far as there's a rental place right nearby, so if I needed to rent something to fix the road, that's obviously definitely can do that, but I don't foresee myself having to go pick up water in bad conditions. I wouldn't want to do that anyway.
Thanks. Okay, I think I'm done.
I don't believe you necessarily.
Yes, but.
All right.
Yes.
Your chair is prepared to accept a motion.
Madam Chair, I move that we table this until September 27th, and I don't know that is there anything else we need in that motion?
No.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to table this decision until September 27th. The meeting will begin at 9:30 a.m. It will go under old business. Further discussion?
Do I have to?
You look like you had something to say.
No, I was just gonna say, do I have to do anything before then
No.
for your findings
No,
or
you do not.
anything?
Nope.
Okay.
But thanks for
If I
asking.
could get somebody out for like a soil sample for a septic, should I do that in the next month so that I could have that information by the next meeting, or?
No, I don't think that'll be necessary when you go to getting your building permit and stuff, because he'll
Right.
require that to
Okay.
put in a septic, because it's gotta be a viable
Right,
soil
right.
for it.
My local builder has built grows before in this area, so I'm kind of putting it on, he knows the protocol. I'm not up to date with all the, all that process.
Some soils will work and some won't. I don't know what those soils will do, but
Right.
they'll know, and like I said, you'll have to deal with that when you do the building part of it.
Okay. Is that all?
I believe so. And
Thank
just
you.
a reminder to the public that this public hearing has been closed, so no further public input will be accepted at this time. All right, anything else? All in? Let's do roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Nagy. All right, let's return back to new business. We will move next to item number 4, proclaiming Fremont Fall Heritage Days, September through November 2022. And we do have with us a representative, I believe, from the Heritage Commission. So if you would introduce yourself, please, and let us know what's the plan.
Okay. My name is Linda Skinner. I'm representing the Fremont County Heritage Commission Board. It's a 9-person volunteer board appointed by you. And each year, most years, we have Fremont County Fall Heritage Days. And so there are a lot of events surrounding those the September through November timeframe, and those are providing information on heritage or heritage type events. So I will read the proclamation, if that's okay.
Yes, please do.
Okay. So Fremont Fall Heritage Days, September through November 2022. Whereas Fremont County is a community that values authentic and engaging activities that celebrate our heritage and provide interesting, fun, and educational events that promote awareness of our heritage. And whereas Fremont County is a community that benefits greatly from the many contributions of individuals and organizations that actively seek to identify, preserve, and promote our rich heritage and historical resources, which includes recorded history as well as our paleontological and geological richness and diversity. And whereas Fremont County Heritage Commission encourages local programs and events that help educate residents and visitors about our heritage. And whereas the Fremont County Heritage Commission, in cooperation with the Fremont County Historical Society, Royal Gorge Regional Museum and History Center, and the Western Fremont County Historical Society, is sponsoring Fremont Fall Heritage Days during September through November 2022 throughout the county. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed by the County Commissioners of Fremont County that September through November 2022 is hereby designated as Fremont Fall Heritage Days. The County Commissioners do urge all people of Fremont County to participate in identifying, preserving, promoting, and celebrating our rich heritage and historical resources throughout this period and throughout the year.
All right, thank you so much for that, Linda. Let me tell you, we do not have a signed formal copy for you today, but we will get one for you.
That's fine.
Due to our technological
I understand, yes.
I think it's only been a few short years since the Heritage Commission came up with its first Fremont Fall Heritage Days, and I believe the very first one was simply over a weekend. but there were so many things happening that
Yeah,
it
it's
started
broadened.
to bookend. And so there was the week, but then there was the weekend before, the weekend after, and then it grew again. And so you've gone in a very short time from 2 days up to 3 full months. And so I can only imagine how many wonderful things that the Heritage Commission, as well as your partners who you also have discussed, have planned for this time. So I just want to say thank you for all the work that you do put into this and everything you do to promote Fremont County through Heritage. Commissioner Grantham actually sits on that committee as our liaison for this board. So I'll ask if he has comments he would like to
I
make.
might have a couple. No, it's actually a real joy to sit on that committee and serve with people that have a real passion for the history of our county. And we have a lot of good history, and the Heritage Days will certainly focus that attention through some of these events. And I think those events will be on the website, correct?
Yeah, we'll have a calendar and a schedule with all the events that are heritage related.
And that website address is
FremontHeritage.com.
FremontHeritage.com. I think you're
I
correct.
think I asked you that last time and you had the same reaction.
Yeah,
I had to look it up, but I think it is.
But I think that's right.
Yeah.
But that was actually the discussion
Hit your
just
bookmark.
last week of getting all that stuff on the website and getting all that stuff calendared on there
Yeah.
so that people know the events coming up. But looking forward to it. Thank you for being here for this.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. And with that, do you have a motion?
Certainly. Madam Chair, I would move the Fremont Fall Heritage Days proclamation designating September through November of 2022 as Fremont Fall Heritage Days.
Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to proclaim September through November of 2022 as Fremont Fall Heritage Days. Further discussion?
I just wanted to go, I proclaim.
Go ahead. All right, let's do roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thanks so much for being here. We look forward
Thanks,
to
Linda.
seeing what you come up with.
All right.
Thank you.
Item number 5 is an abatement hearing for Atmos Energy, and we turn for this information to our county assessor, Stacy Seifert. Good morning, Stacy.
Morning.
And Brenda, is this an official hearing? Do we need to open and close?
This
Okay.
is a required
Microphone.
board, it requires board approval because of the amount that's being abated.
Okay, just the verbiage here, I wanted to double check and make sure. All right.
Yeah, anything over $10,000 in taxes has to be approved by the board, and then it has to be sent to the Division of Property Tax for the Property Tax Administrator's approval as well. This one is, the property's owned by PDG-AEC Canyon City LLC. And apparently I was supposed to know that was Atmos Energy. And I didn't. So it went on the local tax rolls, the land, the building, and it took 1.5 years for Atmos to finally call and say, hey, we reported this on our state assessed value. So I did call the state and I did verify that it has been reported as part of their company value statewide and then appropriated back by the Division of Property Tax under their state assessed account. So it was being double assessed. So we have to, the state will not play ball on an abatement for a state assessed account, so we have to. So that's why we're abating it.
So this is the amount of $27,893.04.
Yep.
Correct.
For the tax year 2021.
For the tax year of 2021.
TDGAEC.
Everybody knows that.
I don't know what your problem was.
Canyon City
And not
LLC.
understanding who
Yeah.
this was.
Any questions for Stacy?
I have no questions. I have a motion if you're ready.
No questions? Absolutely.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the assessed value recommended by the assessor for Atmos Energy, also known as TDGAEC Canyon City LLC, in the amount of $27,893.04 for the tax year 2021.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve this abatement for Energy Atmos TDGAEC Canyon City LLC in the amount of $27,893.04 for the tax year of 2021. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
You don't want to say it one more time?
I think we're good.
Yes.
I think-
QRST,
We might be saying
UV.
it the rest of the day, so,
Just include the whole alphabet, you know?
yes.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks so much. Item number 6 is a request for a special events permit for malt Venice spirituous liquor for Fremont Community Foundation from 5 to 11 p.m. on September 9th of 2022 and from 12 noon to 11 p.m. on September 10th of 2022. This location would be at 1336 Elm Street, the old Belvedere Restaurant. Do we have someone here? I have Dan Brown, but I do not see Dan Brown in the room, so we have no one here to present. Okay, well, let's turn, we do have the information in a packet. Let me publicly say that. So let's turn to our county clerk's assistant and our liquor licensing clerk, I believe. Talia Smith. Good morning, Talia.
Good morning. Our department has no concerns with the issuance of the permit, and the health department and sheriff's office do recommend approval. It was also reviewed by the county attorney.
This is something I will say that the Belvedere Restaurant used to host the Belvedere Blues Fest, and it was a huge deal back in the day. I'm not sure how many years that they had this and they were putting it on. Same organization, same group, same location after an 11-year wait. So it's finally coming back. For a reunion, I'm uncertain if this is a single reunion or if they're going to look at trying to bring it back again in the future. Gentlemen, do you have questions? Issues? I do wish they were here because I would like to be able to speak to them about serving and about fencing and separation. I do have a certain level of comfort, though, because these are the same people who have done this event for many, many years. And I think they've done a good job in the past.
I was getting ready to say essentially the same thing. Have
Go-
an annual
go
event.
for it.
And folks that have done this before many times and put this on and done so very well. And so I think there is a built-in comfort level, at least with this one.
Yes, I would agree. All right. Your chair is prepared to accept a motion.
Madam Chair, I would move for the approval of the issuance of a special event permit for malt Venice spirituous liquor for Fremont County Foundation from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. September 9th, 2022, and 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. September 10th, 2022, at 1336 Elm Avenue, isn't it?
I believe so.
Canyon City.
Second.
It has been moved and second to approve this special events permit as described for the reunion of the Belvedere Blues Festival. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, and the last item on our agenda this morning, last but certainly not least, is the issuance of a hotel and restaurant liquor license for Saddlehorn, Inc., doing business as the Dally Bar and Grill at 506 9th Street in Penrose, Colorado. Do we have Stratton Surface with us this morning?
That's me.
Good morning. If you would like to step to the microphone and talk to us a little bit about what you're doing out there.
Just fired up the deli a couple months ago. Just need a liquor license. Everybody wants wine or a beer with their dinner or lunch, basically.
The
But
name is Dally's Bar and Grill. He needs the bar part.
yeah, I need that part.
So this is located in the former Michelle's building,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Just to maybe locate for some folks who don't recognize the address. Can you talk to us about your hours just a little bit to get that on the record, as well as your servers? Who will be serving? How are they going to be trained? Some of those specifics.
They'll have to take a safe serve class or the serving class for, a couple servers have to have that, I know that for sure. And then they gotta be over 18, and if there's not somebody there that's 21 or older, 18-year-olds cannot serve. So basically, everybody that works there's over 21, I think, except for one young server. So I think we should be good there, and then just holding them to accountability on how they're doing it and making sure that they're taking IDs, obviously, all the time. So, yeah, just being careful and making sure that people aren't getting too intoxicated, basically. Hours were Monday through Thursday were 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday were 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. So just a full-blown restaurant right now, and it's fun. It's exciting. It's a little wild. They told me it was going to be hard, and they weren't wrong.
So I will give you the microphone to make your pitch just briefly to Fremont County. What kind of food are you serving?
To the millions of people
That's right.
watching
Yes.
around the
Who
world.
will be
Yeah, don't
watching
make me
around the
nervous
world.
anymore than I already am. It's American food. We have some oddball stuff, so burgers, steaks, fried foods, of course. I don't know. I'm not much of a cook, so I usually let them do that thing, but they're good at it. That's all I can say. Like, they're really good.
I just want to know what the oddball food is that I could come out there and
They
order.
got salmon, so it's not oddball. It's just yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, nobody expects salmon whenever they come in there. So there's a few things, and then shrimp and stuff like that. So just small things that some people don't expect to have in Penrose. I guess.
Okay.
I will say,
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair, I've had a hamburger there. It was really good.
Really good.
Have you?
All right.
Yeah.
Very
what we like to
good.
hear. Okay,
Perfect.
gentlemen,
That's how
do you
you
have
know I didn't cook it. That's out.
Glad to hear that when you said you weren't a cook.
Yeah, no, you don't want to see me back there.
Do you have any questions for the applicant at this time before we turn for a staff report? All right, let's go to a staff report once again to Talia.
All right, the applicant has submitted all the required documentation as well as the proof of posting and proof of publication. Both of those were submitted at least 10 days before this hearing. Our department has no concerns with the issuance of a liquor license, and the health department and sheriff's office do recommend approval.
All right, thank you. I also would note we have before us included in the application a petition that you got signatures from, it looks to me like local people. There are a lot of folks from Penrose, a few from Florence, maybe a few from Canyon City requesting that we do issue this license to you. So I just wanted to make note of that. Also, I need to make certain you do understand that all servers are required to go through training.
Okay.
So it's not one or two or whoever is going to be managing, it's all servers are required to go through training so they can recognize fake IDs, they know how to check for IDs, they can recognize when someone has been maybe overserved a little bit and can stop that. So
sure.
just a word to the wise on that.
Perfect.
All right, gentlemen, anything else? This is not a, hold on, just, sorry, you didn't speak up quickly enough. Hold that thought.
It isn't public.
It is, yeah.
Okay, this
It
is a
It says
public
it.
hearing. Okay. It is a public hearing, so I would ask if there's anyone here in the public who would like to rise and speak either for or against this particular application. All right. Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and turn to Commissioner McFall, who has a question, statement, comment.
I have a motion if you're ready.
I am
Madam
prepared
Chair.
for a
I guess
motion.
one question first. I think there was some confusion
No.
with the name and all that to start with. That's all been clarified.
Yeah, it was just the chain of the lease from property owner to tenant, but
Yeah,
it's all cleared up.
Cleared up.
Took
Good
a
to hear.
minute, but it was,
It took
we
you a
made
few
it. We
tries,
made it.
but
Yeah,
you
I
got
tried
there.
like 6 times or 10. I couldn't figure it out.
6 times a charm, for sure.
That's right.
All right, so Madam Chair, I move to approve the issuance of a hotel restaurant liquor license for Saddlehorn Inc., doing business as the Dally Bar and Grill, 506 9th Street in Penrose, Colorado.
Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to approve this issuance of a hotel and restaurant liquor license for the Saddlehorn Inc., doing business as the Dally Bar and Grill at 506 9th Street in Penrose. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, congratulations, and we wish you the very best of luck in your new venture.
Thank you. And you guys got a good one here too, so you made a good move there. Very
Awesome,
good guy.
thank you so much.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
there being no further business to come before this board, we are adjourned.